If you are a high performer looking to increase your REM sleep, your deep sleep, and ultimately increase your energy levels, supercharge your performance, get more productivity done, more deep work done so you can make more money in your business, achieve better relationships, then watch this video. It is going to be extremely helpful and things that you may not have heard of. So let's dive into it. What it is the 10 steps to sleep mastery and superhuman performance. These are the 10 steps that I go to all the time, and they're very low hanging fruit where you can start implementing them today where it doesn't require large sums of money and it can really 5x your sleep, your energy, and so much more. And it's different for everybody. You have a unique biology. So, what it's going to take is try all of them one by one, but ultimately, it's going to be one thing that works better than the other ones. So, let's go into the first one. The very first thing that we need to know is, like I said, we have a unique biology, and it's something known as our chronobiology. So, we are genetically hardwired to be more of a morning person, be more of a nighttime person. And there's different forms. Are we earlier in the morning? Are we later in the morning? Are we earlier at nighttime of a night owl type of person, or are we later on nighttime type of person? This is all based on the fluctuation. If we can schedule our daily routines around our genetics where it is a match based on our chronotype, we can unlock new profound levels of energy that we never knew even existed before. So the first thing is you want to find out what your sleep animal sign is. Your sleep animal sign is also known as your chronotype. Now you can go to the powerofwinquiz.com, and then what it's going to do is it's about a quiz by Dr. Bruce, who's a sleep doctor who's been around for a long time. And he's going to bring you through, it's about 20 questions or so. It's going to take you about 5 minutes. Based on that, you'll know what sleep animal are you. And at the end of that, it's going to give you a customized schedule that is based on what your chronotype is. Now, it's not 100% accurate. The best way to do this is genetic testing, and that's what I do with my clients. But this is a free tool, and it's the second best thing, which is great. Next thing you can look at is caffeine. Caffeine is a very stimulant, a very big stimulant for our body. And what it causes is for us to not be able to get to sleep in time because if we have caffeine and cortisol and adrenaline pumping through our veins when we're trying to get to sleep, that's going to directly be a detriment to it, as well as staying asleep. If our cortisol and adrenaline spike from caffeine, especially after a stressful day, it is going to be very difficult to stay asleep. We want to be in a rest and digest mode where we're really downshifted. Stress feels like it's less than 3 out of 10. And if it's not that and we're waking up in the middle of the night, it's no wonder because that's a big reason why. And so what we can do to counteract that is just to not have our last cup of coffee by the latest 2 p.m. I personally prefer 12 p.m. because I think a lot of people are sensitive. But again, it depends if you are a slow metabolizer or fast metabolizer of caffeine. And so you can do this again by doing genetic testing, which I do with my clients, and we can find out the exact time that we should have caffeine for them. For some people, it's 1 cup of coffee. Sometimes it's 3 cups of coffee, and we'll be able to find that out too. The next thing we need to do is look at blue light blocking glasses. Blue light, which you may have heard of before, comes from our iPhone, comes from any electronics or computer or MacBook, even electronics while we're asleep. We have blue light receptors around our eyes. So even if our eyes are closed, it can cause us to reduce our melatonin levels. Blue light will directly suppress your melatonin levels, and blue light is especially not good for REM sleep, which we need to feel fully energized the next day, especially mentally, to consolidate our memories from the day before and really mentally recover and recharge. So if you feel like your memory in the day is not great, if you feel like you're just mentally brain fogged and you just don't have that mental stamina to make it through the day, you don't have that mental sharpness, it could be because your REM sleep is not that great. And that's why we look at sleep tracking, we look at genetics, and we look at all these underlying things that could be contributing to that. But in order to counteract that, what we can do is invest in blue light blocking glasses. One of my favorite ones is called True Dark glasses, specifically ones called the True Light Twilight Classics are great. The other one I put inside of here is called the Swannies. James Swanwick, he has a great brand called Swannies, and those are also good. And they're a little bit more stylish too. So that's when you want to do 1 hour minimum before bedtime. But 2 hours would be ideal before bedtime that you want to put those glasses on. Try and reduce all the light that's around you before you go to sleep, and put on the blue light filter on your phone, on your computer before you do that. Two great apps to invest in that is f.flux or iristech.co. The next thing we want to look at is keeping our bedroom environment temperature cool. This is very important if we want to maintain deep sleep and maintain REM sleep. You might have noticed that in the summertime, or if it's warm in your bedroom, you're just not able to sleep as well. Well, there's actually a reason to this. Without going too much into the science of it, if your body temperature internally is too warm from your environment, that is going to make it a lot more difficult to sleep. And so that's why having our bedroom temperature around is 16 to 18 degrees Celsius or 65, 68 Fahrenheit is the most ideal. Next is we want to look at being in a completely blackout bedroom. Now this goes into the blue light that I was talking about earlier, but we want to invest in blackout curtains. We in an ideal world, we want to make it so we could not see our hand in front of us. That's how pitch black we want it. So if we have electronics, even if they're off and stuck in idle mode, it's cable boxes, fans, heaters, TV. We want to put tape over those. We want to turn off, put it on a timer if we can. And blackout curtains, we want to make sure that there's no light coming in from the sides or the top of the curtain. What you can do for this is invest in Velcro and just put it against the wall. Sometimes people put a sheet over their curtains. Those are some options for you. But the darker it is, the better, especially in the summertime or wherever in the world you are. If if the sun's coming through at 5 6 a.m. and you still have a couple hours of sleep to get, that is directly going to impact your sleep. And if you cannot control it, that's why it is so important to try and invest in a sleep mask, a good quality sleep mask. The next one we want to do is heavy meals. I won't go into too much why, but heavy meals 4 to 5 hours prior to sleep can be a big detriment to our sleep. I would say minimum 3 hours before bed, we do not want to have any heavy meals. You can have a light snack to help with your blood sugar to balance that. That's a topic for another video. But a big one is no heavy carb related meals. A lot of people around dinner time, let's say you rent to bed around 10 p.m., 10:30 p.m. We really want to have our last meal at the latest by 6 p.m. And that could be like a grass-fed steak with sweet potatoes and steamed broccoli on the side. It could be any one of those things, but a heavy meal right before bedtime is going to cause our blood sugar to fluctuate, our body temperature to increase. It's going to cause digestion when we really should be focused on healing. And all this can wake us up in the middle of the night. So that's a big one that can interfere with your REM sleep and your deep sleep, and ultimately your performance mentally and physically throughout the day. The next one is no intense exercise, about 45 hours the same time before bedtime. A big reason for this is we can increase cortisol and we can increase our internal body temperature right before we go to sleep. So that is a big one. You ideally exercising mid-afternoon between about 1 3 maybe 4 p.m. That's scientifically shown when we have the best performance. So whether we're looking to increase our strength, whether we're looking to increase our overall performance, that is the optimal window. Depending if you're a nighttime person or a morning person, it usually fluctuates between about 2 and 5 p.m. depending on what your bedtime and your wake up time are. You can also work out first thing in the morning, and that can also be good as long as it does not tax you. The next one is we want to take a look at exposing our eyes to blue light or sunlight when we first wake up in the morning. People think a good sleep is all about the evening routine, but it's also all about the morning routine. And the reason why is because we want our cortisol levels to be highest in the morning and lowest at nighttime. And how we make our cortisol levels high in the morning, consistently high in the morning, is exposing our eyes to blue light. Or you could think of there's blue light known as junk light, but you can also look at natural light, for example, the sun. And so what the application of that looks like is when we first wake up within 1 hour, we want to walk out into the sun and expose our eyes to the sun without any sunglasses on for about 10 to 30 minutes. And obviously don't look directly at the sun, but you can look about 30 degrees off from it, but just try and get as much light into your eyes as possible. By doing this, what's going to happen is that light is going to enter into your eyes, into your master clock, and it's going to send a signal to all your organs and all your hormones, which have their own circadian rhythm, to start turning on. And now once it has this cue to start turning on, it is going to know when is it time to go to bed. So remember, wake up, sun comes into the eyes, we wake up at the same time. When we go to bed, we reduce that light. Now our cortisol levels start to decrease, our body starts to settle down, and that's when our body is in that optimal state. It's kind of just like our ancestors. The rising of the sun, we wake up, when we go to bed, or then we fall asleep, that's when the sun would go down. And the only natural forms of light were the stars, and we potentially have fire. at nighttime, and then in the daytime it would obviously be the sun. And so all these artificial forms of light, especially right before bedtime, are a big detriment to that. And so that's why by following that same consistent schedule, our bodies will honor us with better sleep and better functioning throughout the day. The next one we want to look at for number 9 is really relaxing our body. One of the best ways to do that is through meditation. There's many different forms of meditation, but I just want to tell you a very basic one, guided meditation. I'm not sure how new you are into meditation, but one of the best things you can do is guided meditation, because that acts, instead of just being by yourself with your thoughts all the time, now you can actually listen to somebody else guiding you through that journey. And one of my favorites on YouTube, again, that's free, is the Honest Guys on YouTube. There's a 20-minute guided meditation one on there with waves in the background. I'll try and link it down below. It is one of my favorites, and it's also one of my clients' favorites. But again, we'll be going more into these meditation videos as we keep releasing each of these videos to help you guys out. The next one is no alcohol before sleep. A lot of people think that drinking alcohol before bed will really put the brakes on, and that's true. It temporarily makes you feel more relaxed, but alcohol will directly negatively impact your REM sleep. You might subjectively think that it's helping you sleep better, but actually, if you were to track your sleep, we would usually see your REM sleep decreases by about 50% at least. And what that means for you is, in the daytime, less mental sharpness, more brain fog, shorter memory, more difficult time solving complex problems, reading emotional cues. So if you're in a sales job or you're trying to run a business, these are all things that will be an ultimate detriment. And so a better alternative is going for more natural supplements, something like GABA or theanine. You could do a little bit of melatonin before, but to really, really settle down, we can look for nutrients for our brain neurotransmitters, or more adaptogenic herbs for our body to really downshift. So this is all the 10 most popular insights that I have seen from my clients over the years to really help them with their sleep and their performance. And this is really just recovery. There are so many other things you can do, but these are the 10 low-hanging fruit things that I see time and time again. If people follow all these things, but they still do not experience the results they're looking for, then we'll go deeper and deeper within their biology. But it's all about Pareto's principle. How do we get 80% of the results with 20% of the work? Each of these things doesn't take a lot of work, but the ROI you can get in your sleep and your overall functioning throughout the day can be very, very high. And so that's why, by following each of these, you can try one at a time, or you could try all of them together, or maybe you're doing some of them you aren't. But the advantage of doing one at a time is you can be like a scientist and test one variable at a time and see, did it work or did it not work? And then you could take a journal. In your journal, you could take notes. And this meta level analysis subjectively will allow you to assess if it's working for you or if it's not working for you. If you're somebody with a sleep tracker like an Oura Ring or a Whoop, you can create tags on certain days of, okay, I implemented this thing, here's the tag, let's see what the improvement was. And if you saw that improvement was 30%, but this other thing you tried was only maybe 5% or 10%, you know that while they do both work, the other one is a major, massive improvement. So you want to stick on that thing more. Anyways, I hope you found that helpful. We've helped people all around the world. If you want to get in touch, if you want to get a free assessment, and ultimately look at your biology and ultimately unlock better focus, better energy, better flow, better everything within your life, then click the link down below, schedule a free assessment with me directly, and we'll talk to you real soon. Bye for now.